Hey there, third grade. This is Mr. Campbell. Today I'm going to have you open up to page 289. This is going to be lesson 8.1. And we're going to go back and review some addition properties that we've talked about earlier in the year. Just kind of get our minds moving again, remind us what this is. So let's go ahead and take a look at our I can statement. It says, I can use place value and properties to understand addition. And all that means is we're going to make sure that we understand where our place value goes and then what those different properties are going to be. So we're going to go to the next page, 290, to check that out right now. Go ahead and turn with me. So here we are on page 290, and like I said, we're going to use properties of addition to join different groups. And just a quick reminder, she's telling us right here that parentheses will show us what to do first. All right, so let's take a look at our first property up here, the associative property, which is the grouping property of addition. This tells us that you can group addends in any way, and the sum will be the same. So if our addends, remember addend are the things we're adding together, right? So if you've got 18, 14, and 15, I can start with 18 plus 14 and then add those 15 on after. Or I can start with 14 plus 15 and then add the 18 in later. No matter what, the thing they want you to see here is the number of blocks here didn't change. It stays the same each time. So we can do either one. Now down here, I just want to show you real quick. So we've got our parentheses. So this would tell us we want to do those first and then this. And then we have our equal sign. And we're saying is that over here, if I added these together, we would get the same answer, right? Here we're starting with our 14 plus 15 and then adding those 18. So the associative property tells us that we can group our parts together and we should still be able to get the same answer. All right, let's come on down here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. All right, over here we've got the commutative property of addition, and this is called the order property of addition. And the reason for that is it just says you can add numbers in any order and the sum will be the same. When we're adding 57 plus 35, we can flip that around and do 35 plus 57 and it will still get us the same answer. This is the commutative or the order property of addition. All right, letter C over here says the identity, which is the zero property of addition. And this says that the sum of 0 and any number is the same number. So when we have a number that we start with and we add 0, our answer will be that original answer, right? Just like if we start with 0 and add a number to it, whenever 0 is one of our addends, then we are doing the identity property of addition. All right, and all that means is the other number is going to be our answer. So when I have 39 plus 0, I don't need to count all 39. I know nothing changed, so my answer will still be 39. It's a shortcut as we're working on these different problems. Let's jump over to page 291 and try some together. Here on page 291, we're going to start off with number 3 and 4, and it says to identify each property. Now for that, I'm going to need to make sure that my book is open and I can come back and quickly look over here to see my 3 different ones. All right, so I see in my first one 4 plus 15 plus 26, and I've got some parentheses there, is equal to, if I did 4 plus 15 first and then added 26. Which one of my properties over here showed us that we could group them together differently? Oh, hey, there it is. The associative or grouping property of addition. So over here, we're going to write associative. And you should be grabbing your pencil and writing this with me. Property. All right. So whenever I'm writing on the screen, I want you to be writing in your book as well. This is your chance to practice with me because in just a minute, you're going to be doing these on your own. All right. So we grouped them together, which creates the associative property. Perfect. All right. Next up, I've got 17 plus 0 equals 17. Well, whenever I see that 0, I know that we're talking about the identity or the zero property of addition. So we're going to go ahead and put identity property. And you can see here, again, I'm coming over here and I'm looking at my words here so that I can copy them over here. All right. That's how I can do these different practices. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look. If you haven't finished those two, pause the video. But we're going to take a look at number 5, 6, and 7. All right. 5, 6, and 7. Now, before I solve it, I'm going to ask you the question. I want you to use your brain and really think about it. So for number 5, it says blank plus 90 equals 90. So something plus 90 equals 90. So they're staying the same. Which of these properties would that fit? I hope you said identity, because we're starting with one added and ending with that as our sum. So this is the 0 property of addition. And I told you either one of these can be 0 for it still to be the identity property. So we actually need to put our 0 here, because 0 plus 90 equals 90. All right. Nice job. All right, here we go. This next one, number 6, 42 plus 23 will be equal to 23 plus what? Well, I can see here, I've got 23 and 23. What's going to go here? Well, if these are the same, right? I've got 23s, which means I need 42. Now, my question to you is, which property is that? Is that the associative property, the commutative property, or the identity property? Go ahead and look over here on page 290. See if you can figure that out. I hope that you looked over there and you found, oh, this looks very similar to the problem they've got as an example for the commutative property. This is the commutative property. It tells us we can add them in any order we want. All right, so we've got the commutative property there. For number 7, I've got 2 plus something plus 36. And then over here, I've got 2 plus 23 plus 36. Well, I've got 2 and 2, 36 and 36. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that I'm going to need this 23 here, right? But when I put that in there, I see my parentheses are changing. Here, my parentheses are around 2 and 23. Here, they're around 23 and 36. So which of my properties would that line up with? I hope you looked over here and you went, oh, well, this looks like the example they showed me for the associative property. Yeah, the associative property, we can group them together to solve in whichever order we want. All right, nice work. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at our independent practice. Now, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and I'm going to have you solve a couple of problems, and then we're going to go ahead and check in, and then you're going to work on the rest on your own. So right now, would you try out number 8, number 10, number 12, and number 18? All right. I want you to pause your video, do number 8, 10, 12, and 18. And when you're done, you can go ahead and push play, and I will walk you through. Now, again, please don't just wait and then write down whatever I put. You're going to practice these on your own in just a moment. So it's really important you make sure that you are practicing them on your own. Go ahead and do that now. All right, I hope you pause the video. For number 8, it says to identify each property. Identify each property. So here we've got 19 plus 13 equals 13 plus 19. Well, that is going to be our commutative. And if you didn't get that, go ahead and erase it and make your correction now. Commutative property. All right. Because we want to make sure as we're practicing together that you're understanding where we're coming from. All right, next up, I've got 16 plus parentheses 14 plus 13. And then our next one, we've got our parentheses around 16 plus 14 plus 13. So our parentheses are moving. And so hopefully you went and checked that and you said, hey, that is the associative property. And again, if you didn't get that, then go ahead, pause your video, erase it, and rewrite it now. All right. For number 12, it says write in each missing number. So 25 plus 62 is equal to something plus 25. Well, when I look over, this is the commutative property, which tells me I can move my numbers around, which means I need 62 over here, right? If I flip those around, hey, then it works out. Number 18, 34 plus 2 plus 28 is equal to something plus 28 plus 34. Hey, wait a second. I see that my 28 moved. Do you see that? Whoa, wait a second. What do they want us to do here? It's kind of a mix between the associative property and the commutative property because they're rearranging the order that we're doing it. but they still want us to start with the same numbers. Well, when I see that, I see 34 is being used, 28 is being used. My blank is going to be 2, all right? And that will give me that same answer. We can move around and it will not matter. All right, I want you to go ahead and work on your independent practice. Hopefully your teachers got those on the board. If not, just work on 9 through 19. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks for working hard with me, and I will see you next time.